We are continuing Unit 1, Foundations and Functions, with evaluating functions using function notation. Given the set of functions below, evaluate each function for the given input. Write non-integer answers in fraction form. So we have an f of x function that's got a fraction bar. We've got a g of x function that's got an x squared, h of x function that's got a radical sign, and j of x function that's got absolute value. So we have a variety of functions here. So you want to make sure you pay attention to the name when it's asking you to find h of 7. So go up here and find the h function. This is the function that we're going to be substituting 7 in for x. So what I like to do is first, anywhere there was an x, I put a blank set of parentheses, and then in the parentheses I'll put 7, and then we'll evaluate using order of operations. The radical sign is like a grouping symbol, so we've got to do everything under the radical sign first. We've got multiplication and subtraction. Multiplication will happen first. 3 times 7 gives us 21. Then we do the subtraction under the radical sign. 21 minus 5 gives us 16. And then lastly, we take the square root of 16. The square root of 16 is 4 because 4 times itself equals 16. So it's important that you write your final answer with function notation. H of 7 equals 4. The reason we do that is because h is the name of the function, so it tells us which function we used. And then it also tells us what value went in and as well as what value came out. So we have our input of 7 gave us an output of 4 when we used the h function. Number 2 is asking us to find f of -2. So note the name of the function, find that function up here. Everywhere there's an x, put a blank set of parentheses, and then inside the parentheses, we're going to put -2. Then we're going to evaluate it using the order of operations. The first thing that needs to be evaluated is these exponents. -2 squared, that means multiply -2 by itself. That would give us +4. And then we'll do the multiplying. 3 times 4 gives us 12. And then our adding 12 plus 4 gives us 16. And then lastly, the fraction bar means to divide. So 16 divided by -2 gives us -8. F of -2 equals -8. Make sure you write your final answer using function notation. Number 3 is asking us to find g of 3. So come up here, find the g function. Everywhere there's an x, put a blank set of parentheses. So it's like -x squared plus 4x plus 5. Make sure this negative is outside of the parentheses. It's not part of the base. And then where there is parentheses, we're putting 3. We'll do exponents first. So 3 squared gives us 9. And then that is multiplied by -1. So the result is -9. Next, we'll multiply the 4 times 3. That gives us 12. And then we'll do the adding. -9 plus 12 gives us 3. And then 3 plus 5 gives us 8. We'll write our final answer with function notation. G of 3 equals 8. Number 4, we're finding j of -2. So go to the j function, and everywhere there's an x, we put a blank set of parentheses, and then in the parentheses, we put -2. So the absolute value sign acts as a grouping symbol first. So we've got to do everything inside the absolute value. We've got subtraction, and we have exponents. We'll evaluate exponents first. So -2 cubed gives us -8. 3 minus -8 gives us 11. And the absolute value of 11 is 11. And 1/2 times 11 will just be 11 halves because the direction said if it's not an integer, so if it doesn't divide evenly, we're going to leave our answer as a fraction. H of 2, go to the h function where there's an x, put a 2, and evaluate 3 times 2 first. So we get 6 minus 5, which gives us 1, and the square root of 1 is 1. F of 3, go to the f function where there's an x, put a blank set of parentheses. In place of the parentheses, we're going to put 3. We're going to do exponents first. 3 squared gives us 9. Then we do the multiplication. 3 times 9 is 27. 27 plus 4 gives us 31. Divided by 3. It doesn't divide evenly, so I'm just going to leave my answer as 31/3. And j of 4. So I'm going to go to the j function. In place of x, I'm replacing it with 4. And then we're going to follow our order of operations. We would do exponents first. 4 cubed gives us 64. Then we do our subtraction because it's inside the absolute value sign, and the absolute value sign acts as a grouping symbol. 3 minus 64 gives us negative 61. Then we can take the absolute value. So we have to do everything in all the operations inside first, then take the absolute value. The absolute value of negative 61 is 61. And lastly, we multiply that by a half. So we get 61 halves. Last one, g of negative 2. So first, start by putting a blank set of parentheses. Both places there's an x. And then inside the parentheses, we're going to put negative 2. The very first thing that has to be evaluated in this expression is the exponents. Negative 2 squared would be positive 4. But then we take the positive 4 times this negative 1 that was out here. So the ending result is negative 4. Next, we can do the multiplication. When there's a number in front of the parentheses, nothing in between that number and the parentheses, that means multiplication. 4 times negative 2 gives us negative 8. And then we can do our adding. Negative 4 plus negative 8 gives us negative 12. Negative 12 plus 5 gives us negative 7. We have our final answer written in function notation. G of negative 2 equals negative 7. Thank you for watching.